Welcome everyone. My name is Antonio Silva, and today I'd like to share with you how to design the layout, mapping, and import a flat file sending by some banks with the statement for some accounts. It's very easy to create in the Dynamics Nav 2016 and each more in the 17. I'm going to show in the 17 because it's what I have in my computer. I hope you'd like our presentation. Let's start to create the layout. For that, I'm going to call a data exchange definitions form. And we start here to see another curiosity. We talk only about the statements in these videos, but if you see, there's another type of exchange data, another types of exchange data. So we talk in another videos about some important imports and exports data. Right now I'm going to create a new layout definition for the flat file who come from the bank. I'm going to call Giro. I like the name of this bank. In Portuguese, it have another meaning. Statement. Giro statement. They ask me the file type. I'm going to say that file type is variable text, and he already says one interesting thing. The file encoding is Windows, and the column separated will be comma. It's because it's the usual. We can change the comma for tabs, semicolon, space, etc. And you can change for another type of file encoding. Attention, it's very important this field, because MES-DOS it's very used for many banks, many institutions, credit institutions here in the world. One curiosity connected with we see in the previous form, it's, you see, bank statement, payment export, payroll import, generic import, and positive pay export. So keep that in your mind. We have a lot of imports and exports now. We can easily create and manipulate. Here in the statements we have to say the XML port we go to use, it's the 1220, and the code unity will go to work and we have the principal paper. It will be this one, 1240. It's very important, this code unity. Now I'm going to say my file have one header, and more than that I'm going to say the name of my first column. That way, normally the name of the first column is the account. And that way, when we import, we know we are working with an account or with a specific bank. It's important to have that idea. And because it validates in the import. After we go to the line definitions and we start to the header. And the header, we have only to say I'm going to work with 4 columns. That columns I already created. Here. I'm going to open with the notepad, and if you see, I have the bank, the date, description, and the amount. So it's this I'm going to put after. I'm going to collapse this. I'm going to collapse, and I'm going to expand the columns definitions. So if you see, bank, date, description, and amount. So column 1, sorry, it's the bank. It's a text, don't have any problems. I say it's 50. Sorry. Bank, text, data format, and 50. It's always an error in the demos. So the second one, it's the date. Here I have to say it's a date type. I have to put the D because I put the date, the first field. Date formatting, I have to say it's English from UK, and I don't have to say nothing more. Now, field free, description, text, 50 again, without errors now. Very unusual. And now the amount. Decimal. And I have to say this amount is formatted for English and from UK. Okay, it's done for now. I'm going to say OK, and it appears already here. I'm going to open again this one and finish the first phase by here. So the second phase use the same form we already see in the first phase, but now we're going to use this function here for mapping the columns of the flat file with the fields of the rows of which table? I'm going to create a new which table? Yes, the reconciliation, bank reconciliation table. And I'm going to say 0 mapping. And after, I have to say here it's an important code unity because it's the responsible for mapping the creating the right mapping between our tables, our SQL tables, and flat files or XML files or so on. So I'm going to mapping. I don't need to mapping the bank because it's always the same in this case. I'm going to mapping the date, and the date I'm going to use the transaction date. So in the statement it's normally have more than one date. The usual it's the transaction date and the value date. I'm going to use the transaction date for this example, and I'd like to show you an important field here, an important function we can create. It's the transformation rule, something that will transform the column of the flat file in another thing. I see a lot of you can create some ones. One of them it's lowercase text, but all the things in lowercase. I don't see a lot of utility for this one. The trim text I see already. Some of our we can sometimes we need to remove some spaces from the beginning or from the end. Interesting because appears here transforming unique timestamp. As you know, Unix have different ways of finish the lines and the fields, the flat fields. So normally we have to create some transformation for the fields and for the file too. Uppercase here it's very important because you can sometimes we need to put some description or something in uppercase for two reasons. One, it's because it's a politic of the company. Another one, it's because the target file it's a code file. And the most important transformation rules are about dates. Dates are normally something very complicated. Each bank sends is type of date format, and it's very important we have some process who generate our own format. It's not this the question. I already create the flat file, and I have the careful who don't create another errors. I hope. So now I put this description. The description don't have any problem. Let's try the description with uppercases. And now let's put the amount. I'm going to put in the statement amount, but as you know, there's more than one amount normally in the statements. So we need to choose after what is the real amount I want. So it's mapping. I'm going to close and I'm going to leave from here. Now everything is created to make the integration of the flat file in the bank reconciliation. So let's finish this phase for here. Now it's time to fun and to shine near the customer. So after we create the mapping and the layout of the flat file sent by the bank, I need to say what bank will use it. But more than that, we have to create an interface because the two things are in different tables, and now we have to point and join them together. So let's to the bank account and I'm going to put here I don't like to start by one with the statements. It seems so so it will be the first of this year, so I put the first statement to 0. And now we have here the place where I will put the interface. So I'm going to advance it. I'm going to clear the filter and create a new one. 0 and 0 interface. It's to import CodeUnity with connect all the things are 100 to 1200 or 1200. And now I have only to say 0. It will be the connection between the bank and the data we have defined. And these data, remember, are in two different tables, the mapping and the layout definitions. It will be this CodeUnity will be joined together and make some magic. Let's see. 0, it's here. So I hope everything is done. So we're going to bank reconciliation. We're going to create a new one. 0. Statement number 1, because I'm going to say it's this date. I'm not to do nothing more. And let's go to import. Import, 0 statement. And here we are, the two columns as we see before. There's one thing different. I put the description to uppercases. You see? And we can do a lot more in that roles. So it's done. Everything is here. Now it's pick match manually, and so on. But it's very interesting. This is very easy to do to a person. Any person can do this easily. But remember, we can do this for another kind of processes, of journals, of documents. So the data exchange definition, it's a very important tool we have in this Dynamics Nav 2016 and 2017. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'd like to thank to Sanjeev, who showed me this for the first time before I start to develop some more accurate the rest of the things. Thank you very much, and see you in the next time.